Hello everyone and welcome back to the island of the Lizard King. We are just beginning our adventure. We arrived at the island, or rather at a small inlet at the eastern tip of the island of the titular island, Fire Island as it's officially called. And you'll notice one thing that unlike the previous Fighting Fantasy adventures, this one is not taking place from south to north, because we have arrived at the easternmost point on the map. So we are going roughly in a westwardly direction. And already we can choose between going left, so towards the southwest basically, and scramble around the rocks to the beach cove, or to go right and explore the inlet. So towards the northwest, I guess, or northwest. I'm opting for the first one. Let's take a look at the beach cove, what it hides for us, what it has in store. It does not take us long to reach the beach, which is small and covered with golden sand. A few rocks jut into the sea, and at the far end of the beach we see a tiny hut made of white stone. The roof has collapsed and the hut looks deserted. There are some long tracks in the sand crisscrossing the beach. Alright? We could return, but why would we do that? Let's explore this hut, this collapsed hut, this dilapidated little building. Walk across the beach to the hut. We are about halfway across the beach when suddenly a large mound of sand by the sea's edge starts to rise into the air. Then we see 6 large spiny legs and a pair of pincers, and as the sand slides off its huge shell, our eyes widen at the daunting sight of the giant crab before us. It scuttles across the sand, picking up Mungo with one of its pincers. Mungo cries out in pain, unable to free himself from the vice-like grip. Alright, poor Mungo. Seems like that already he has taken a hit for the party. We could run away like a coward and leave Mungo to die, which is a funny option, but no, we are of course going to help out Mungo. Let's see how it goes. We run at the giant crab with our sword drawn. Good idea. It drops Mungo into the sand in order to attack us with both pincers. Okay, I guess our plan half worked already, so it no longer is crushing Mungo. Let's see what this beast can do. Alright, it has a skill level of 6, but so it's not really formidable, but with the stamina of 11 it's actually quite tough, which is not surprising. It's truly gigantic and it's quite armored as well. So let's see how the battle goes. Oops, sorry about that. Alright, so far so good. We are theoretically in advantage, but it could easily inflict some damage on us, so that's not out of the realm of possibilities, but it didn't. We beat it without suffering any damage at all. Kneeling down beside the crushed body of Mungo, we gently lift his head in our arms. His eyes open a little and he manages half a smile despite his agony. In a whisper he says, "Well, old friend, it's the end of the road for me. A lot of use I've been. Make sure you get the Lizard King for me, won't you?" Then his eyes close and he slumps down dead. Poor Mungo. He was a good soul, and I'm afraid we are going to be missing his sword in our adventures ahead. I wonder if he would, if he had survived, if he would have survived had we taken the northern path, you know, northwestern path. We bury him on the beach near the cliff, marking the grave with his sword skewered into the sand. More determined than ever, we set off on our quest and walk to the stone hut. Alright? The abandoned hut is littered with broken furniture, smashed pottery, and a few bits of torn clothing. We kick away a dirty rug and see the handle of a trapdoor in the floorboards. Alright, we could just go away, but obviously we're here to explore. We lost a friend and we battled a giant crab just for this, so let's see if there is any prize in here, or just more traps. So we open the trapdoor, we pull on the handle and lift up the trapdoor. In a small compartment we see a wooden box which we lift out and place on the floor. The lid is covered with candle wax. Right? It shouldn't be difficult to open. Let's hope it's not trapped. The lid lifts up easily, and inside we find a corked earthenware jug and a note which reads, "Many years ago I came to Fire Island for peace and solitude. But since the lizard men have dwelt here, such an existence is no longer possible. I have now returned to the mainland. Many of the plants and bushes here are poisonous. A scratch can kill you. Drink my potion from this jug, and you will come to no harm. I wish you well for whatever reason you are here. Farewell, Baskin." Alright, let's drink the liquid in the jug. It seems that this used to be a peaceful little place for a hermit. Something like a hermit's paradise, I guess, but now it's a more threatening and dangerous environment. At the very least, this Baskin person left us something to drink, so let's drink the liquid in the jug. Let's see what happens. The liquid tastes of any seed and is milky in color. We gulp it down but feel no effects and can only presume that it will protect us on the journey ahead. We put down the jug and leave the hut. Alright? I guess nothing happened. We didn't die, we didn't grow a third arm or a third ear. So, all's well. Let's proceed. Behind the hut, we see a narrow goat track leading up the side of the cliff. We wend our way up it and are quite exhausted by the time we reach the top. Alright? We take a swig of water from our flask and realize that water shortage could be a problem for us on this island. Looking west, we see the daunting sight of the sleeping volcano standing above the trees, but no sign of life. Although we can certainly hear it, a cacophony of bird and insect noise. With the light quickly fading, we decide to camp for the night behind some rocks. We do not sleep very well and are awake at first light, eager to set off. We decide to head directly into the trees. Alright, that also made perfect sense. We arrived during daytime at Oyster Bay, and we even spent some time there, you know, feasting and just getting mentally ready for this challenge. Then we spent a few more hours on the seas, high seas, with Mungo, and after a short little adventure we're here. So night, the first day has already passed basically, but fortunately nothing happened at night, and we didn't even need to roll against luck or anything, so it's literally nothing happened. We can proceed on day 2. The undergrowth between the trees is dense. Plants with long or broad leaves, some with spiny tips, vines, creepers, fungi, roots and flowers of all sizes, shapes and colors, fighting for light and space in the humid jungle thicket. We have to use our sword to cut our way through it, and it is a long and slow business. Now we could sit down and rest at the base of a great tree, but I mean, how lazy are we? We literally just had a night's sleep, so this doesn't sound like a good idea. We are opening ourselves up for attack, and again, I cannot even believe how lazy we are. We are not going to do that. We are going to continue hacking our way southwest. Let's see where that leads us. As we push our way slowly through the undergrowth, the hairs on the back of our necks start to prickle, and we feel that we are being watched. We stand back, sword ready, watching the leaves for any sign of movement. Then, 3 large men with sharpened teeth step into view, each wearing only a crude loincloth. They are armed with stone clubs and long spears, but we are more alarmed to see that each wears a belt of shrunken human heads. The headhunters start to argue about who should kill us and earn the right to wear our head on his belt. Finally, one steps forward. Right? They're pretty presumptuous that the first one is going to kill us like that. Although also, I don't understand why we just allowed them to discuss this, their plan to move forward. This is kind of weird. But anyway, we must fight. Let's see how strong this first headhunter is, and it's actually not stronger than the crab was at all. It has 6 skill points and 6 stamina points, so we are in advantage. It could hit us, so he could hit us, so we are not 100% stronger, but it didn't. Alright? We have defeated the first one, now we must face the second headhunter. It's interesting. Probably we must fight all 3 of them, and it's always a one-on-one fight, like who gets to keep our heads, I guess. But the first one didn't even hit us, so it's weird. This second one is a bit stronger, which is also strange. I would have thought that the strongest one would be the first to approach us, you know, the one that is the most imposing one. He has a skill of 7, so he has a higher chance of hitting us. Let's see how it works out. Alright, so far so nothing happened. And we kill him. Alright, now the third headhunter is actually less skilled, but is a bit tougher than the previous 2. So, we shouldn't die to these guys, but we might suffer a hit still. And we don't. We kill them all without suffering 1 hit. That's actually pretty neat. As I was saying, that's actually pretty neat. The headhunters have no items of equipment on them, but have a hide bag containing bananas and coconuts. We save our own provisions and eat the headhunters' food. We gain 1 stamina point, which we didn't need because we didn't get hit at all, which is awesome. We wonder if their village is nearby and decide to climb a tree to get a better view. That's a good idea. From the top, we see smoke rising not far away in the southwest, perhaps from a village. Directly west, we see the trees gradually thin out, and away in the far northwest, we see the daunting shape of the volcano. We climb down from the tree and plan which way to go. Alright, we could go southwest, keep going southwest, directly towards their village, or the northwest in order to circumvent this smoke, which presumably comes from their village. I don't want to fight more of them, not that they were very tough, but they also didn't yield anything apart from bananas and coconuts, which is not really the prize we're looking for. And besides, butchering the local idiots is not part of our quest. So instead, I mean, I'm pretty sure they have nothing to, you know, they're not in league with the Lizard King, they're nothing to do with them. So let's just leave them be, and let's go towards the northwest to see where that leads us. Maybe we'll find something more useful there. We struggle on through the dense jungle and suddenly stumble over a human skeleton. The maggots and insects have long since devoured the flesh, but the clothing looks like that of a prisoner who must have tried to escape. We wonder how he or she died. There is a hand axe and some rope lying by the prisoner, which we decide to take before continuing northwest. I'm already very happy that we came this way. A rope was extremely useful in some of our previous adventures. This hand axe is not a proper weapon. I mean, it's not an extra one. It didn't replace our sword, so it has no immediate advantage. It offers no immediate advantage for us, no immediate benefits for us. But whatever, free loot is free loot, so let's continue. Being very wary of the vegetation, we stay alert, constantly looking about, which is wise. Halfway up a tree to our left, we see a crude platform and a vine hanging down from it. Alright, so this seems to be the home, the abode of some intelligent creature. Let's visit this intelligent creature. Let's see if it's worth visiting. Let's climb the platform. We have climbed about halfway up the vine when we see a head pop out over the edge of the platform. It belongs to an old man with grey hair who glares down at us, looking very angry. "Go away!" he cries, "or you'll be sorry!" Alright, I don't think he's dangerous to us. Let's continue climbing. Let's talk to one of the natives who doesn't seem to be totally insane, only half insane. As we continue to climb, the old man jumps into defensive action. A barrage of coconuts is hurled down at us, and although we tell him that we mean no harm, he continues throwing down whatever is at hand, shrieking, "Go away!" at the top of his voice. By the time we reach the platform, we have a few painful lumps on our head, and we lose 1 stamina point. It's interesting that we are asked if we still live after the fight with the headhunters. We gained 1 stamina point, so that means that we have at the very least have 2. So we definitely had to survive this barrage. But anyway, we have survived, obviously. We now see the man at the far side of the sheltered platform, standing nervously with a bamboo pole in his hands, wearing nothing but canvas shorts. Alright? We have 3 options to take. We could just leave him alone and climb down and continue our way northwest through the undergrowth. So basically we just lost 1. If we take that option, we just lost 1 stamina point for no good reason whatsoever. We could also step on the platform and pull his bamboo pole away from him, which is a better idea, but although I don't think he's dangerous, like he's really weak. Or we could offer him some of our provisions. Being civil has worked out previously all the time, almost all the time basically, with some marked exceptions. But anyway, let's try that first. The man's eyes light up at the mention of food. He puts down his pole and beckons us to sit down. As he devours our offerings, we tell him of our quest. And of course we lose 1 portion of our provisions. He tells us that he was once a thief on the mainland who was caught and sentenced by Prince Olaf to 5 years imprisonment on Fire Island. After the lizard men began their rule of the island, he was forced to work in the gold mines. Alright? That's actually pretty good that we hear this, because a lot of rumors or a lot of background stories does confirm that it's totally abandoned, and yes, the former prisoners are slaves in the gold mines, so basically the Mungo's information was accurate. One day, however, he managed to escape and has lived in hiding in the jungle ever since. He thinks he's too old to brave a journey by raft to the mainland and is happy enough to live in his tree den. We ask him if he has any information which may be of use to us, and he replies that he will willingly tell us all he knows in exchange for some more food. Alright? We have more food. I don't like parting with our provisions, but let's see what he has to give us for another portion of our provisions. The old man takes the food as well as our map. He takes a piece of charcoal and begins to draw on it. He points to where we are now and also marks the sites of the mine and the prison colony, which is where the Lizard King lives. Alright? Just as we are about to climb down the vine, the old man says, "And for just a little bit more of your delicious food, I will give you something really useful." Alright, this is a very primitive map, but good enough. So we came from the eastern tip. We already have journeyed quite a lot actually. We're almost halfway to the gold mine where presumably the prisoners are, and the former prison colony is probably where which is the fort of the Lizard King. So so yeah, this is, it's almost like a straight line that we need to take. Now I don't believe him anymore. So this was useful, or half useful, so to speak, but I don't think he has anything really useful or valuable. But let's see, the very worst case scenario will beat our food out of him. So let's give him the third and final portion of our provisions. The old man pulls a piece of bent wire out of his pocket and proudly hands it to us. He sees the puzzled expression on our face and explains, "It's a picklock wire, and I used to unlock my leg irons. I used it to unlock my leg irons before escaping from the mines. It might come in handy if you are captured." We thank the old man and climb down the vine to continue northwest. Alright, I don't think this piece of hardware was worth the portion of provisions, that is 4 stamina points. But whatever. We have a map, we have a picklock wire, and we only suffered 1 stamina point loss so far. So let's continue. Hacking our way through plants and shrubs, we become aware of a buzzing sound above us. Hovering over us is the colorful but threatening shape of a giant dragonfly, its iridescent wings beating fast, yet keeping the dragonfly perfectly still. Suddenly, it plunges down to attack us. I'm kind of afraid that this is not the last we're going to see of the local fauna trying to attack us. Let's see how strong this creature is. But it's actually pretty skilled, as in pretty agile and dexterous. It has a skill level of 8, but it's very fragile as well, with 4 stamina points. Let's see if we can deal with it real quick. Ow. Alright. Close to where the giant dragonfly now lies in a crumpled heap, we see a patch of clamp-shaped fungus attached to a rotting log. Alright? We've been told that most of the whatever surrounds us here, most of the flora and fauna are dangerous or poisonous or harmful. But let's try to eat it. I don't think it will kill us outright. Let's see what happens if we do. As we reach out to break off one of the fungi, its clam-like top opens up and releases a jet of spores into our face. They irritate our skin and lumps appear on our face. Our eyes start to close as the irritation increases. Alright, we must act quickly. Obviously, clearly it was a bad idea, but so far we've not been damaged. We could ignore this and hope it will go away. That sounds like a horrible idea. We could eat the fungus. I don't know how that would help. And after this, I'm definitely not going to eat it. It might have more of these poisonous spores. We could rub our face with leaves from a nearby plant, which seems the only sensible solution here. So let's check this out. We pluck a few lush leaves from a funnel-shaped plant and rub them furiously onto our lumpy face. The relief is instantaneous and the itching mercifully stops. We could still eat the fungus, which is still a bad idea, so we are going to skip that and we are going to set off again through the undergrowth. We decide that we have gone far enough northwest to avoid the headhunter's village. Okay, that's actually a good thing, and a good achievement. And we begin to cut our way directly west through the jungle. We have not gone far when we are surprised to enter a small clearing, completely free of vegetation. A large green crystal lies in the center of the clearing, glowing and radiating heat. Right? This is clearly magical. This is clearly something half otherworldly that we have stumbled upon. Definitely merits our attention. We could ignore it. I don't think it will harm us if we do, but we could also touch it or try to chip a piece of the crystal with our sword. Both are good ideas. I mean, both could be beneficial, but let's first touch it, see how it reacts. I don't think that it will cause us much harm. Maybe we'll lose some stamina points, worst case scenario. We can afford to lose some still. So what does it do? Slowly and nervously, we touch the glowing crystal. A warm glow radiates through our body and we feel invigorated. We gain 3 stamina points for having benefited from the effects of the regeneration crystal. Alright, that's great. We are back to maximum stamina levels, which is awesome. And we could still attack it with our sword, chip a piece of it. That's not a good idea. I mean, I don't want to assault this regeneration crystal. I mean, at the very least, I think we would just cause it to stop functioning, which we definitely don't want to. So we are going to just leave the clearing and continue southwest through the undergrowth, having no other option. I don't know why we cannot take all of it. Maybe this crystal is huge or something, but whatever. Let's continue. As we continue to hack our way noisily through the lush vegetation, we are unaware of the 6 tribesmen we have attracted, who are now following us. They surround us before coming into view, their blowpipes aimed at our exposed flesh. I wonder if these tribesmen are in league with the headhunters or their mortal enemies. I'm pretty sure they're not in league with the Lizard King, that's for sure, so there must be a different... I wouldn't even call them a faction, a different unit or entity altogether. Anyway, this is not a welcoming sight, and we could try to fight them, but obviously they're at a huge advantage, 6 against 1, and they already have their blowpipes trained at us. So let's first try to communicate with them. Worst case scenario is they still attack us, and then we didn't really lose anything. The tribesmen shout at us, but we do not understand their language. They obviously want something from us, but we are not sure what. What would we give them? Well, we could give them the hand axe that we found at the near the skeleton, an iron bar, but we don't have that, and we also are fresh out of provisions, so we also cannot give that. Obviously, we could still attack them if we choose not to give them anything, but the only option we have is that hand axe, and so far it's been of no use whatsoever, so it's not an extra weapon. We cannot use it to cut vegetation, so if they accept this, then that means we don't need to fight 6 foes, so that's a fair trade. Let's see if it works out. One of the tribesmen steps forward and snatches the hand axe away from us. The others gather round him and start to chant. They seem pleased with their new acquisition, which they seem to regard as a religious artifact. Alright? Now we have a few options. We could attack them, which is stupid. We could just let them go away and leave. That's a good idea. Or we could ask them for something in return. Since we have provided them with a religious artifact, I don't think it's too much to ask for something in return. Let's see how they react. The tribesmen look surprised at our audacity and begin to laugh. One of them steps forward and offers us some nuts and berries. Okay, that's not what I had in mind exactly, but let's eat these nuts and berries. I don't think they're poisonous. Nope. The nuts and berries taste delicious. The tribesmen know what is good to eat in the jungle, obviously, or else they wouldn't be alive. We gain 2 stamina points, which we didn't need because we were already at max stamina. Suddenly, one of them utters a shrill cry and they all vanish into the undergrowth. We breathe a sigh of relief and begin again to hack our way west. Alright? Pressing on further west, we notice that the ground is becoming wetter and softer. Soon we are ankle deep in water. The trees thin out and we find ourselves wading through thick black mire. The marshland stretches out in front of us as far as we can see. Oh goody, I love swamps. They are the perfect setting for adventuring. Stinky, slow moving, full of treacherous deadly creatures, and not much loot, you know, so this is awesome. Suddenly we hear the sound of squelching behind us, and we are surprised to see a strange creature run past us. It is small with green reptilian scales. Its arms are long and hang down to the ground, and it moves rapidly over the marsh on its webbed feet. It pays us no attention. Alright? We could call out to this creature, or just keep trudging west. I think we are going to call out to this creature, but we have been adventuring for quite a while now. And I'd say that the first leg of our adventure is behind us, the jungle. And so far, everything seems to be awesome. We've lost all our provisions, obviously, but all our stats are at maximum. We never needed to roll any attribute tests. And we've picked up a few things. So, I guess that's progress. We haven't died yet, that's for sure. So anyway, I'm going to continue from here. I'm going to make the cut of the video right here. And I hope I'll see you next time. Bye bye.